blessing of being able to travel a lot together, not just in the U.S. but overseas as well. And for that, I'll be eternally grateful. This particular day, we were traveling in Italy. We were, I think, between a beach and Florence. And as is known to happen in Italy, there was a strike. Just randomly, the train people decided to strike, and the train literally stopped dead in its tracks for 3 hours. Not having any opportunity or any other way to get out of there, we just sat. And Stefan started telling stories, and at first, my group of friends, there was four of us, and Stefan, and we were all sitting together. And Stefan starts telling this story about Uncle Luby, and he says, "I hate when they change names like this." and he says, "No, not that one." And I said, and he's like, "Dad, what are you talking about? What are you, he was going to see Aladdin, the movie Aladdin. And Uncle Luby's like, "No, it's not Aladdin, it is Aladdin." And, names and places don't necessarily always translate from German to English as well as words do. And so he knew that, that was, he thought it was Aladdin. Stefan was like, "No, Dad, it's Aladdin." And it just kind of went back and forth. And of course, there was other stories, and, there are so many speakers, so I have some stuff to say, but I want to get, let everyone else say things. But the really cool thing about that is as he was telling this story, his laugh, his demeanor, his storytelling was so infectious that we had, by the end of that probably 2 to 3 hours we were stranded on the tracks, almost the entire train car had pushed in on either side to hear these stories. And if any of you have ever been to Europe, you know how much they hate loud Americans. But this day, it was okay. And I think that's just a perfect story to highlight the light that he had, the joy that he brought people, because who else on this planet can do that? I've never seen anyone else. And this is clearly evidenced, things like this, clearly evidenced by the tremendous worldwide outpouring of support and love that for Ubi and Lisa in this dark hour, as I mentioned, from every corner of the globe. Another thing I'll miss about Stefan, and I think that all of you will probably know about this too, are the completely random things that he would do. And most curiously, his interesting fashion choices. Last summer, Steph and Katie and I went up to Sipupu. Sometime on the way back from Sipupu, we stopped because for some reason, Steph and I are talking about Saved by the Bell. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's a show from the 90s where every episode ended with a high five freeze frame. And Stefan's like, "Dude, we gotta hit a Saved by the Bell high five." I was like, "Stefan, we've got 2 hours left to get back to Santa Fe." "Yeah, it's okay, we'll do it right now. This is a cool background." So we handed Katie the photo or the camera and went over to do it and to take the picture. We did the first take, thought it was great. Came back, and some of you don't know, but Steph and I both got a hefty dose of the Mitchell genes, which do give longevity, but also give you a stomach. And so our stomachs were showing in this first picture. So we tried a couple different takes, and he says, "Dude, I think we just have to tuck our shirts in." And so you'll see that picture up on the PowerPoint later of us high-fiving, and if you notice, we only tucked the front half in because we're wearing fishing shirts and they didn't have belts. It looked very ridiculous. Another really random memory was, and there's so many, but I try to condense it to the greatest ones that just shows character. We went to Greece, I guess 6 years ago, and due to bank error, there were some issues with money and not getting money there on time. When we got to Santorini, and I said, "Well, Stefan, we have money for food, or meaning more euros, which we didn't want to have, or we can rent four-wheelers and drive around the island." He's like, "Dude, four-wheelers." And so we cruised around the island on those four-wheelers for days, and it really was one of the best decisions. But I think most people would choose food. I may have myself, but no, not Stefan. One last really funny story we kind of talked about, or I talked about earlier, about his playful nature. A couple of years ago, or I guess 3 years ago, and our aunt Janie was diagnosed with brain cancer, and she's a miracle and testament to her faith. She's beat the odds, and she's here with us today. But every year we've tried to do a relay for life in her honor, and sort of as an excuse to get the family together. And Stefan absolutely loved that. He was all about getting the family together and doing stuff. But as we cousins are known to do, we had a roughhouse. You know, it's not enough to be together. You have to be like fighting and being childish.
Adult.
Yes, kidults, Brenna. Kidults. And so Brenna, our responsible girl cousin, had bought a bunch of these glow sticks, like glow stick necklaces, to sell as a fundraiser. I think every booth had to do a fundraiser or something. And it's what started off as trying to advertise these glow sticks. Probably actually drove people away because we were running around whipping each other with them. Stefan, I don't know who started it, Stefan or Zach, but they were kindred spirits in that respect. So it's hard to tell, but we were just whipping each other all the time, and I needed a break, so I took Brenna's camera to go take a picture of something else. Stefan and my brother John were behind me, and I said, "Okay, guys, let's get a selfie real quick." And I did this to get the camera, and as I'm snapping the shot, they're winding up, and they hit me one on each leg, and I take the picture and just. And Stefan and John quickly turned around and ran away. I couldn't catch John, but I did catch Stefan. Pretty sure I tackled him. You know, it's just all kind of, so many of the things that I say, it's just like, I think, who else would do this? Who else can bring a train full of Europeans together? Who else would enjoy beating someone with glow sticks? Whereas Zach's going to have some other tales of other things too. And that's just who Stefan was. He was unique. There's not another one like him, and I think that's what makes all of this so difficult, is there's no substitute for who he was, or the playfulness, the humor. Let's go to fashion choices now. I swear he got his love of bright colors from our sweet grandmother Mimo. She did love her some turquoise and pink, and so did Stefan. I am not sure though where his love of the thrift shops and gas station sunglasses came from, but it was definitely there. Be it sunglasses, hoodies, t-shirts, or ski outfits, he was outrageous. You could usually spot him from a mile away, and in fact, when we were on those four-wheelers that I told you about earlier, we'd been trying to meet up with some people that we met on the ferry coming over from Athens, and I think Stefan and I couldn't afford phones, so we were just there. And one of these people were sitting on a balcony, and they saw this bright neon green hoodie. They're like, "Stefan! Stefan!" And we ended up meeting up with them, but had it not been for that, probably never would have seen him again. Even yesterday, Aunt Lisa and I were talking about different signs and little things that have happened in the last few days to let us know that Stefan's okay. And we were going to get Aunt Lisa some new glasses. They had just come in, and the ophthalmologist opened the store early for her so she could get them. And he said, "Well, here are your glasses. Pick out a case for your new glasses. I got a whole bunch of them in here." And Lisa, being a Mitchell girl, went for the closest thing to turquoise she could find. And when she opened it up, the cleaning cloth in there was this same color green, with a blue dog with sunglasses on. Just the most ridiculous thing you could imagine, but it was a shirt that I could see Stefan absolutely wearing. Even from beyond, his love of neon lives on. As I mentioned, I know there's going to be other speakers in other parts of his life, and I just want to speak for a moment about Stefan's deep, steadfast love for his parents. We talked a lot on the phone and visits with each other, and he just felt so blessed to have you guys in his life. Aunt Lisa, he just adored you. He told me one time that someone remarked to him that it was weird that he was so close to his mom. He responded, "Dude, I'm sorry you don't have this kind of relationship. We can enjoy each other's company, we can talk about anything, we can laugh, we can cook together, we can cry, and we can both get frustrated at Dad together." He had been so excited about the road trip that you two were to take through West Texas. And, I really could just go on about the things that he loved about you, but it's Uncle Luby, it's your turn. He loved you dearly. And I know that occasionally y'all did argue like a old married couple because you work so close together, but he never let that cloud his judgment or impact his love for you for 1 second. He treasured the time that he got to spend with you, be it learning carpentry, skiing, or just driving countless hours across the vast expanse of the American West together. He once told me how lucky he was that he got to work with his dad in the family business, that he got to teach the Austrian method here in America. He just loved you. He loves you both so dearly, and I know he'll be with you till the end of time. He also loved his extended family, both the Austrian family and the American. He felt blessed to have such a strong family, and worked at developing and keeping those relationships that he had. Having family overseas myself, I know how difficult it can be, and I always admired Ruby and Lisa, and I think he was always really grateful that he was able to have such an active role in the lives of the Austrian family, the Österreichers, I think that's the right way to say it, and as well as the Americans. He did everything that he could to be a part of anything that was going on in the family, from ski trips to water balloon fights, family reunions, to hanging out with cousins at the Seigmann's ancestral farmhouse, to turning Hay and Olive, to making us cry. We were laughing so damn hard in any location. Stefan brought a joy to our family that won't be matched. But it's just not his sense of humor and storytelling that made him special to us. He truly and genuinely cared about us. He'd go to great pains to get the family together and organize things we could all be a part of. He really wanted to get everyone together for Christmas this past year, and I am so sorry that didn't happen now. He'd also drive for hours on end at inconvenient times just to be with someone who needed him, and talk for hours on the phone with you. I think he and I inherited Mimo's gift of gab, because we could go for days talking. Even if he had a full work day and ski day and just completely exhausted, he would make time for you. He loved Katie, and they shared so many great times together, and I think you'll hear from her later. He loved his friends and the ski family so much, and I'm sure he would drop anything to be there for you guys, just as he was with us, all the while having you in stitches, laughing so hard. There are so many stories I could tell, but I know there are many other people who loved and want to speak about him, so I'll wrap this up. Stefan, we had a hell of a run. I'll forever miss our times together, the inside jokes, you judging my skiing ability or inability as the case may be, the laughs, minch, long talks and stupid accents, water balloon fights, playing, wrestling, having deep conversations, traveling, and just simply hearing your voice. My life's been forever changed by knowing you. Though this pain is stinging, you left one hell of a legacy and countless memories for those who loved you to share with each other. For all of us left behind now, my charge to you is that we live as Stefan lived. Make time for your family and friends. Live life to the fullest, laugh a lot, be yourself, wear your neon if you're so inclined. And most importantly, work to leave a positive and lasting impact on everyone you come in contact with. In doing this, you will honor Stefan. I don't know how we'll be able to carry on without you, Stefan, but with God's help, we will. God be with you till we meet again, sweet Stevie Line.